Alright, guys. Where the heck is my tripod stand? It's probably upstairs. Alright, guys, so, funniest thing happened today. Me and someone else were gonna go see a movie. I wasn't sure what movie they wanted to watch. And they just said, okay, I'm fine with any movie as long as it's not a horror movie. So I was like, oh, okay. I was going to recommend Woman in the Yard because it kind of sounds interesting, but if you're not down for horror, then I guess that we shouldn't watch that. So they said, oh, well, this movie called Death of a Unicorn sounds pretty cool. Like, okay, sure, yeah, because I didn't know anything about the movie. And I was like, yeah, sure, well, let's watch whatever you want. And then we started talking about the Minecraft movie as we actually met up, and then they were like, you know what, I kind of want to watch that movie. You know, it has Jack Black in it. I like Jack Black. And literally, we didn't decide what movie we wanted to watch until we were in the middle of buying the tickets. They said, actually, can we just watch Death of a Unicorn? And definitely not what they were expecting. I was kind of concerned, literally, it was the funniest thing. I was sitting in the theater, and one of the ads that plays is for an A24 movie, and I was thinking of leaning over to my friend and saying, oh, don't watch any A24 movies. If you don't like horror, stay away from A24 movies. But I didn't. I stayed quiet. I was just like, you know what, I don't need to say that. I don't need to risk disturbing the, 4 other people in this theater. I could have been in the Minecraft theater. I could have been recording theater reactions to Chicken Jockeys, whatever it is. And, I have some theater reactions for the FNAF movie and Spider-Man No Way Home. I should put those in a compilation, put them up there, just audio. Because the visuals, I got copyright. but I, mirrored it. It hits me with a copyright. I have the audio for Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's appearance in my 60s Batman video. Anyway, and then the movie starts, and now our feature presentation, and the first thing I see is the A24 logo, and I was like, wait a second. And I was thinking of saying something, but I was like, their choice. Maybe A24 made a movie that isn't freaking terrifying. It was freaking terrifying. It was also hilarious. It's genuinely, so funny. Don't feel bad if you feel like chuckling when a joke happens, because there are a lot of jokes in this movie, despite it being absolutely horrific. And, I will just say, with being as spoiler-free as possible before I dive into spoilers, this movie couldn't have done a better job at showing the corruption of the rich, of corporate greed. If you like those themes of Squid Game and frickin' Wild Kratts, if you like stories that make fun of rich people and say that anyone who, tries to manipulate anything for profit is bad, you will love this movie. Because that is 100% the theme of this movie. With being as spoiler-free as possible, this is basically what if unicorns actually existed and they fell into the hands of a wealthy rich person, a wealthy rich family. That is basically the whole gist of this movie, this isn't spoilery, this is the very beginning of the movie, but there's a line where the rich family is telling the dad, probably one of the cats, I hope. I didn't do anything wrong, so the unicorns won't hurt me. Anyway, I was once driving to the retreat, and I was just like, oh, don't worry, nothing bad is gonna happen out here. What the frick was that? Whatever. Anyway, don't worry about. And the person in the passenger seat was like, you have no idea how much chills I felt up my spine when you said, what the frick was that? It was like a rabbit, or maybe it was a deer or something, whatever. I thought I almost hit something. They thought that I hit something. It's that we thought we heard a shriek, but I was like, I don't see anything back there. And then the car did it again a few days later when I was in the middle of the city, so I think it was just a problem with the car, thank goodness. But anyway, there's a line in this movie where the rich family turns to the father and is basically telling them like, oh, don't worry about your daughter right now, you have to be loyal to our company. And when that first happened, I actually thought it was somewhat reasonable. I was like, you know, this daughter, she's like teenager or something like that, like she's not helpless and she's not like sick, and even if she is sick, she's in like this really rich and big house, like she's probably better off staying at this house for a bit than she would be at a freaking airport. But then as the movie goes on, you realize like, oh, this rich family is genuinely awful. Sorry, I'm just thinking of how scary it would be if I saw someone coming down that hallway. Whatever. Anyway, I want to dive into spoilers. I want to talk about spoilers a bit because what happens in this movie is terrifying. What happens at the beginning of the movie is okay, first off, it has like that classic A24 thing where it kind of hits you with the tone of the movie at the very beginning. The very first scene is the father and the daughter on an airplane, and the father's trying to reach his papers, but he can't. And the only way that he can really reach them is if he like doesn't let his daughter sleep on his shoulder. But instead of just waking her up, he moves, causing her head, and there's like a sound effect of her head like hitting the airport armrest, like bam, like whoa, that was aggressive. And then, you know, at the beginning they're driving down this thing, a very awkward situation happens, the father's sort of texting while driving, and then there's a scene where the father's like and the daughter are like kind of trying to figure out what to do, and they're driving at incredibly high speed, and there's like the shot of the father and the daughter, and you can kind of see the front windshield but not really see. And I remember like when that happened, I was like, oh, like they're gonna hit something. I thought that they were gonna hit an oncoming car, but no, what they hit is a white horse. And I was like, oh right, this is called Death of the Unicorn. Well, I guess we fulfilled the title of the movie. And the first scene, like right before the title card, sets you up perfectly for the tone. I don't want to spoil everything because like I want you guys, if you're interested in, like, be careful, like, don't watch this movie if you're under 18, don't watch this movie if you're under 18, there's so much gore in this movie, but what happens right before the title card scene, perfectly, is, like, the theme of this movie. This whole movie is asking, what would happen if this supernatural, magical thing that is usually associated with completely pureness and goodness actually existed in the real world, where things are incredibly messed up and humans don't actually know how to deal with anything pure and good, like, and then even like, and as I said, like, this movie does everything it can to convince you that the rich family, not the father and the daughter, but the rich family, which is basically everyone else in this movie, are irredeemable. There is nothing that would have convinced them to leave these unicorns alone. There's a scene where the rich kid, he's about as old as me. He's not a kid. He's the classic, like, rich kid who acts really cool when in reality he's a coward at heart. He does something genuinely so messed up with the unicorn's magic. I honestly feel awkward even saying it on YouTube. It's probably not as bad as I just made it sound, but it's incredibly messed up what he does. But what he does allows him to perfectly understand it. He essentially, like, goes on, like, I feel bad calling it, like, he goes on a bit of a trip, and he sees, like, everything, and he understands perfectly how the unicorns work and what they want and what they stand for, and he understands it all. And even with all that knowledge, he still tries to screw over the unicorns for profit. Like, as soon as that happened, I was like, this whole rich family is gonna frickin' die. Like, there is no way. The unicorns are going to get all of them. And yeah, like the last family member that dies in a pretty comedic way. Like, I literally, like, burst, like, as right before he died, I literally, like, let out a and then he actually dies, and, like, the 4 people in my theater was like laughing. And my friend was fine, by the way. Like they were able to handle it just fine. Everything was okay. They were a bit embarrassed. Like as soon as the credits hit, I was like, "Did you actually research anything about this movie?" And they just burst out laughing. But they were fine. Like I was sitting in my seat and I was like covering my eyes. I was covering my ears at times. Whenever the movie like went quiet, I was like covering my ears because I was like, there's gonna be a huge freaking noise, and I was like doing this, and I was trying not to look, and my buddy next to me was literally just like watching the movie. Like it was only when they really dove headfirst into the gore that they really like kind of looked away as well. But that was just that wasn't even because they were scared. That was just because it was gross. And then at the end, not the very last scene, but the second to last scene, has such a punchline. I was literally like, I would have busted a gut if everyone else had. We all six of us could have just been laughing for the rest of the movie. Because again, I won't spoil everything because I want you guys to like have some secrets. But what happens is there's a scene and like and the unicorns are about to do something and you're sitting there and you're just like, if everything goes right, this could be okay. This could be okay. Just let it be okay. And then all of a sudden the unicorns start doing this weird like ritual thing and you're just I was sitting there and I was like, I genuinely had no clue what was happening. I was just like, this could be really good or really bad or I have no idea. And then all of a sudden I realize what's happening and I'm just like, oh my god, wow, this is cool. And then the final punchline hits and you realize that literally all of this was pointless. They literally could have just left the unicorns alone and everything would have been fine. And I would like literally like when this happens, you're just gonna find it hilarious. And then the very last scene, honestly, I would never have been able to think of a better way to end a movie like this. Because again, like it mixes the pureness that you expect of unicorns. Like the unicorns do something and you're thinking like, oh, like this is so sweet. This is kind of what you expect happens. This is what you expect unicorns do when you're leaving Unicorn Land. But unfortunately, the surviving characters are in a bit of a predicament. And let's just say the unicorns are willing to help them out. And that's how the movie ends. And I was like, perfect ending. I legit have no idea what the negative reviews are saying about this movie. There was an app, and all the negative reviews were just criticizing it for stuff that wasn't even the app's fault. Hold on. I'm at 17% battery. 17. What did they say? That's 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. Was in a mixed review for the New York Times, Mona something, found the satirical elements of the film unconvincing, writing that the jokes about class consciousness don't land hard or at all. Signaled out something's acting as among the best parts of the film, and as provided the story just enough heart. Awarded the film 2 out of 4 stars, with praise for the comedic performances but criticism for the direction. The result is a tonally confused, gracelessly shot, and edited misfire that squanders its premise on escalating suspense and ugly, unconvincing digital effects. Now, the digital effects maybe, but like I don't know, like I thought it was fine, like for what it was going for. Like again, like the whole theme of this movie is what if magical pure unicorns were real and existed in a world of horrible people. Like you hear all these stories of like tales of what people do to then receive their comeuppance, and those are centuries ago, and you essentially get to see a version of that happen in the modern day, and it goes exactly how you would expect it. Like, you know, like you could kind of stop and think of like, well, what if actually like, you know, the military got in on this? They'd probably be able to defeat the unicorns. But that's not the point, because the movie wants you to be essentially rooting for the unicorns. Anyway, I've talked for way too long already. I really enjoyed this movie. I still wish I saw Minecraft instead. But, you know, what can you do? I saw something original instead. Like, I literally, the movie theater guy, I literally got out of the theater just in the near the beginning, just to ask for some more popcorn. I had to step out in the middle of it because I needed a break. Look up the synopsis on Wikipedia, and the guy was like, oh, what movie are you seeing? And I was like, Death of a Unicorn, and he was like, ah. And I was like, is everyone else seeing Minecraft? And he was like, yes. I was like, okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, don't watch this movie unless if you're ready for a real horror ride, because this movie is genuinely terrifying, if also hilarious. Thank you all so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. Goodbye. I literally was thinking towards the end of the movie, I was like, it's okay. I didn't want to sleep tonight anyway. But then the ending does kind of leave you. And I will say this. When the movie goes back to taking place in daylight, the horror element is basically done. You're basically just in for those final last punchlines, and that's it. Okay. Bye-bye, guys. Yeah, I think I can sleep. I'm okay, as long as no creepy things happen.